on the record, today is a September 26, 2022 meeting of the Westport Commission on Disability. My name is Brian Gallagher. I am the chairman of our commission, and we are starting this afternoon. Some of us are in person and some of us are participating via telephone. Hopefully within the next few minutes, a couple other people will show up, but the remote participants are myself and Ray Phoenix. First thing that I want to get to on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of our prior meeting, which was July 25 of 2022. Did everybody get the meetings that the minutes rather that I circulated?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
Has anybody second the motion?
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
So the minutes of the prior meeting have been approved. The next thing is, Martin and I have spoken about this several times, and then he was actually in touch with Chris Gonzalez of the Highway Department. It's the access to the lower level of the annex, which had been broken up and was difficult for people such as myself in a wheelchair to get into the building. But Martin sent me a photograph recently of the new concrete that the Highway Department put down, so that the walkway from the parking lot to the doorway is now all concrete and easy to traverse. I don't know what the condition is of the railing on the inside because that was under repair, but Dana said, our recreation director said that was in the works. So that is an improvement for people who need to get in and out of that part of the building. Then we get to our beach access topic, which is a recurring topic because it's important for many of us. And the first thing is the Children's Beach, which is also known as North Beach or Baby Beach.
Hi.
Oh, sorry about that. We're just Brian. Okay.
So for help here this week, so.
Yeah, Brian, Val just showed up. So we're recording on Zoom too.
Oh,
And so I don't know if you would just want to use our Zoom recording and post that, or if you want to do yours, it's up to you.
well, it's just you and me.
And Brian's remote, and then we're probably gonna have a couple people come in late too, and Ray's remote, so
So do you want to make sure you get the camera from you want to start or what? You want to do?
we've already kind of gotten started, so
You've already started?
yeah. We're fine just using the Zoom if it doesn't have cameras, it's just audio. Yeah, it's just the audio.
Yeah, okay,
Oh, so-
just send me the.
Yep, we'll send it after, so. Cool.
Hi.
Yep, no problem. So, all right, Brian, we're good, sorry.
No, good. Well, thank you. The last time I was at the Children's Beach, one of the picnic tables had been upended, but the Highway Department was there and they cleaned up the beach. Mobility mats have been put down, but now that the season is over, so almost over, the mobility mats will have to come up, as will the mobility mats at Beach Avenue. And I assume that those will be stored at the Highway Department like they were last year, but we'll have to confirm that. And I'd also heard that during the season that picnic table was going to be put in its correct position, and hopefully the beach committee, maybe next year, will get us a wheelchair accessible table for that park, because now that it's cleaned up, it's a nice area for families to go and hang out and get their kids in the water if they wish to do that. The next item is Beach Avenue, and the placement of the geogrids was supposed to happen earlier, but because of the pipe and clover season, we couldn't get in there to get them put down. But Chris Gonzalez of the Highway Department has promised to put it on his list of things to do after September 1st, which is the end of the plover season. So that the geogrids will be in place for the next beach season. But if anybody wants to go over and just enjoy that beach, because it is a lovely beach, that handicap parking area should be stabilized shortly. And as I said earlier, hopefully the mobility mats will be picked up and put in storage sometime soon.
Brian, Martin has reached out. I know Martin's reached out to Chris Gonzalez before about that. Do you know, will they do that of their own accord, or do we need to contact them to remind them about that?
I think that is probably good. It's good. It would be a good idea to give them a reminder.
Okay.
Because I know that they're busy.
Yeah.
And to give them a reminder about both places.
All right, I'll connect with Martin after the meeting if you don't mind, and he's usually good about spearheading things like that. So
yeah, that'd be great. Next item that I had on the agenda was Horseneck Beach, and I was going to get over there and try to enjoy that paved walkway, which goes the whole length of the beach all the way up to the campground. But I wasn't able to get there this season. But it's got a beautiful walkway and handicapped accessible bathrooms. And the state, from what I understand, put down mobility mats before people access to the beach and maybe get down closer to the water. And there are, I think, wheelchair accessible picnic tables over there as well. So that is a nice alternative for people who want to get to the beach. And I think that you can get in without charge if you have handicap license plates or a handicap placard for your car. So something to keep in mind for next season if you're looking for a place to go. And that brings me to the next item. I received a letter from Kathleen Haynes, who is the chairman of the Falmouth Commission on Disability. They, surprisingly to me, the town of Falmouth at a select board meeting allocated $25,000 or $20,000 for the purchase of mobility mats for the beaches in Falmouth, which is very nice of them. But the Commission on Disability has sent an inquiry to all of the other commissions in the area that have beaches, because they have mobility mats, but when the town comes through with their tractors to clean up the beaches, having the mobility mats there is a problem for the tractors and whatever rakes they use to clean the beaches. And the inquiry was whether or not anybody has dealt with this problem and has a solution to the problem. Now, for us, I don't know that it's a problem. Because I don't know if the town comes through and cleans and rakes the beaches, like the Children's Beach or Beach Avenue. I've never heard of anybody having a problem with mobility minutes. So if anybody on our commission has encountered that problem and knows of a solution, please speak up.
Yeah, our town, as far as I'm aware, doesn't rake the beaches at all. I know some area towns, sounds like on the Cape, most beaches out there, they probably have a machine that goes up and down the beach every morning to take the high tide seaweed away. But here in Westport, we treat it like the normal scenery on the beach and leave it there all summer. So the Moby
Well, I
mast
hope
has to be moved.
Yeah, and and as I said, I've never heard of anybody in town, in our town, having that problem. But it was requested, raise it, and there you have it. One of the other things that I just recently learned, actually after I did the agenda, is 25.5 million people in our country have access issues if they're in a wheelchair trying to get onto a train or a bus. Now, in Boston, all of the buses, I think, have the ability to accommodate someone in a wheelchair, but they only have 2 spots allocated within the bus for someone in a wheelchair. But not all the trains can accommodate someone in a wheelchair. So you have to, if you're in a wheelchair, you have to find another stop that will do that. Now, it's not a problem for us in this town because we don't really have bus service or train service. But it's something to keep in mind is that in a wheelchair, not only accessing doors can be a problem or getting up on a curb if there are no curb cuts, or if the sidewalk is broken up, you have to go into the street. If you want to travel, if you want to go to a city, or if I don't know what the solution would be if you're in a wheelchair and want to get on an airplane. But last time I was on an airplane, I wasn't in a wheelchair, but it didn't seem like they're in a position to accommodate someone. So another thing to keep in mind when you're traveling around our town, you see something that you think could be an accessibility issue for someone in a wheelchair, please let us know so that we can do whatever we can to try to address that situation. One of the things I put on the agenda was sidewalks in new developments in town. And there was a town, I think it was the building department, has a rule that if you have more than 20 houses going into the development, you have to put in sidewalks, or 20 or more houses. So sometimes I think developers are doing 10 houses this year, going back next year and putting another 10, trying to get around that rule. So Martin, has tried to get the relevant town committee to listen to a suggestion that they reduce the number of houses that where you need to put in sidewalks. And he was supposed to attend a meeting, and then of course the meeting got adjourned and then got rescheduled. I think adjourned again. So I was kind of hoping Martin offers his input or his take on this. He's the one who has been more intimately involved with it. So if anybody knows of anything that's going on in town, issue, please speak up.
Well, coincidentally, Brian, Martin just arrived. So we were just talking about sidewalks developments.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Whether or not there's been any movement on the.
No, I'm glad you brought that up because we need to call, I think, Amy, the secretary of the planning board, and find out because what's going on. Because when I left there, the last comment was the chairman said to her, "Put it on the to-do list." I hate that. You know what that means? Here's the to-do
Yeah.
list. Maybe I don't know. So I mean, we need to push it because who knows when they're going to get to it, you know. Maybe, hey, Brian, do you think you could write a letter to them, you know, as the chairman, just saying, you know, it's been, I don't know how long it's been, a couple of months since we appeared before you and wondering how how that's going, or when we're gonna have a hearing to reduce the number of houses per unit so that sidewalks can be put in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more than willing to do that because, you know, we need to find out if there's going to be any forward movement on this.
No, I
You know,
agree.
for them to say, well, we need to bring it up at a hearing. Well, okay, that's fine. When is there going to be a hearing about it?
I know.
And,
It's so,
and how do we get on the agenda?
the good thing, Brian, is everybody was on board with us, you know, with the planning board. So I'm sure they'll be willing to do it. We just got to get on the agenda.
Okay, so I will send a letter and say we'd like to get it onto the agenda at a hearing.
I think it's a great idea. Mention my name, that Martin Costa appeared before the board, you know, I wonder if we can look at the note, at the minutes and find out exactly what the date was. I thought it was in August, no, July maybe, because we're already in September, right? Anyway, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is, also, they had called me, one of the gentlemen on the planning board had called me, Manny Soers, to say that they were gonna have a hearing on, remember we talked about this, I forget the name of your house.
Behind Briggs Landing.
The behind Briggs Landing, I forget the name, the Oak something, I think it is, but anyway, then that got postponed. I think it's like the third time it's been postponed. So I'll go to the next planning board meeting and make our comments clear, you know, our opinion, I should say, that, you know, we want to see sidewalks clear.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll send a letter on our commission's letterhead and say that we'd like to get it on the agenda at an upcoming hearing, and let us know when it is so that we can
Yes, I think that's only fair.
appear.
Talking about
Right,
the sidewalk, the planning board last time said, we'll put it on our to-do list, and we never hear anything. I hate that, you know? So I'm telling Brian that he should write a letter to them saying, hey, what's going on? You know?
Oh, good idea.
Brian Sue's here as well.
Hi, Brian, sorry I'm late.
I just got here 2 minutes
That's
ago.
okay.
Hi, Sue, I haven't seen you in a
Yeah,
while. Sue helped with the litter cleanup, so she did a great job.
So I will try to get the letter out quickly, so that
Hey,
go to the planning board. And
And while you're talking about sidewalks, I noticed that nobody made any notification to me, but I was driving by the Coastal Healing, you know, the marijuana dispensary on Route 6. There was a question there, within their own planning, there was a question from the planning board about what's gonna happen if buses stop there and there's somebody in a wheelchair that needs to get off and get to the dispensary because it is a medical dispensary. And they have constructed a very nice walkway, a wide sidewalk there where the bus can stop and drop somebody off. So I think they really took care of that situation over there.
that's good. So, if you need to get over to the coastal hearing, at least the sidewalk will be good. And we don't have many other places in town where we have to worry about it, but certainly Route 6 is one of them.
Yeah,
And good to know that some people are paying attention.
yeah.
And one of the articles I recently read is that when the American with Disabilities Act was passed in 1990 during the first President Bush administration, there was no enforcement mechanism included in the statute. So it has been left up to people to file their own private lawsuits to try to enforce the provisions of the ADA that might help them. So, it's a tool that's available to us and to anybody else with an accessibility issue or disability issue. And it is, it's always something to mention where necessary, either town hearings, board meetings, or if you're even talking to a private individual who wants to renovate the business, because if your business was constructed prior to the enactment of the ADA, you don't have to comply. you're grandfathered in. But if you decide to make modifications, then you do have to comply. So it's important for us to keep our eyes open and try to influence how things happen in our community.
Speaking of sidewalks, I don't know if you guys went over this because I got here late myself, but you know that Chris Gonzalez has pretty much completed the annex right here, way out, the walkway. He did a great job. You've seen it, right? Everybody seen it?
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, Brian said it looked good.
No, he just, okay.
Yep.
I don't, he hasn't put the yellow, I don't know what they call
The
bumpy
bumpy,
stuff.
like the visual.
Yeah,
It's
I
good.
know it's
them. He doesn't need
bumpy
that.
thing.
The bumpy
Bumpy
thing. He said that he ordered it, so they'll take care of that.
Martin, did you go inside the building to see how the railing is doing?
I did go into the building
Repaired?
while Chris was there repairing it. That was about a month ago, and we talked, and Dana happened to show up to take a look at what Chris had done, and she said they were very well aware of the ramp and that they were gonna take care of that. I guess they've got Tim Gillespie on the committee, who's very good, a good carpenter, so I don't know when they're gonna take care of it, but he said they would take care of it.
Okay, that's good, because, when the election's coming up, people need to go in and out of that building if they want to vote in person. And if you got a disability, it would be comforting to know that you're not going to fall off that ramp as you're trying to get in to vote.
The ramp is usable.
I know that Dana,
What's that?
I'm sorry. And Dana's been working really hard to try to get things done, so
Yeah.
just keep in touch with her.
I will. The ramp is usable, and she had mentioned that she'd put the cones there so nobody would fall over it, but I know that's not a great safeguard, but she's very well aware that that's also a safety issue. So I think they'll get on it, but I'll talk to her again about that.
Okay, good. And Martin, before you arrived, we were talking about the storage of the mobility mats both at Beach Avenue and Baby Beach.
Yes,
And I don't know if that's something that the highway department will automatically
yeah,
do
I've
on
got
home.
to talk to Sean Leach first so we can coordinate with the highway department. And Chris Gonzalez told me he was ready to go whenever we are. And of course, now I'd like to get Sean involved with that as well. We had talked about doing it in October.
That's GeoGrids, right?
Did you agree? Am I talking
Yeah,
about the wrong thing?
No, we talked about that too, but the other was about removing the mobility mats. getting
Oh, I'm
them
so
stored.
sorry.
Oh,
Couldn't
We
hear.
talked
Yeah,
about both.
I think doesn't Ross Moran take care of that?
Ross
Oh,
Moran
yes.
does.
Yeah, Ross takes that.
Is he gonna do the children's speech as well? Or, because that's a different.
I don't think so.
that's
I don't think so. That's not their property.
Because that's not their property, Ross does. it.
I can ask Chris to do that. I'm sure Chris will. Yeah. I'll ask Chris to get the movie mats on, help me people, on
Baby
Baby Beach, right? Up because, I'm sure Ross, it's not Ross's duty, so, but I don't think Chris will mind doing that. We just gotta make sure.
And Martin, did you say that the geo grids are going to be put down after October 1st?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead of myself there. Yeah, we had talked about that last month with Sean and Chris, and they both thought October would be a great month to do that. So I'll get on the horn and make sure they line that up because October's right around the corner.
Mhm.
Great. Okay,
And I
well, that
see-
would be good.
Brian, I see you guys went ahead a little bit about on the agenda because I was late. I don't know if you talked about the picnic table, but I brought that up several times to Sean Leach, who's on the beach committee, who were gonna pay for that table, and he said they're waiting for it to come in, and I mean, he's well aware of it, so we're just waiting on when they can do
North Beach,
it.
it's
Yes,
there,
there's a handicap accessible table there?
yeah.
Oh, all right, well, Sue says the table's there already. You know there are 3 tables there,
It's
They're not handicap accessible.
Oh,
Wait a
I
minute,
might
wait a
be
minute.
wrong, I might be wrong, I might be wrong.
Yeah, there's 3 cement tables there.
Never mind.
One of them needs to be moved out. We need one that you get.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
chair in here.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's there. He would have told me. Okay,
I'm wrong, I just saw tables there, I assumed they were ours.
Yeah.
Don't assume.
So maybe, Martin, when you speak to them about the mobility mats at that beach,
yes,
you can also just remind Sean about that picnic table for
absolutely.
next season.
I'll stay on him. I thought he said they were having a problem getting, just with supply, one of those supply issues. getting it in, but I don't know if that's an excuse, not on Sean's part, but an excuse that, from the company or not, but we'll see. I'll remind him.
Thank you. It would be good to have that all in place for next
Yeah.
season.
I agree.
Great. The next item is the status of our donations to the recreation department. Did that money actually get transferred over to them? Does anybody know?
I'm glad you said that, Brian, because I just happened to talk to
Yeah.
Dana. I talked to Dana at the litter day. She was there with her son doing it. I said, hey, have you received that $5,000 check from us? And she said, no. But she wasn't worried about it. She thought it was in the process. But I'm sorry to say, I forgot who was responsible to do that. Who's following through on that with the accountant and so forth?
Yeah, the town accountant, when I spoke to her, she said that, that now that everybody's, we got the approval from the select board, and our commission has all agreed to make that. She said nobody from our commission has to do anything more. She would just, once she got the minutes
Oh,
of the meetings saying that the approvals have all been made,
okay, maybe that's the problem.
that she would just automatically transfer the money over.
What's that?
When I prepare the minutes of our meeting, I send them to all of you, but I also send them to Jim Hartnett's office
Mhm.
so that the town accountant can get them through Jim Hartnett's office. And I assume that and Jim can also send her the minutes from the select board meeting. So that transfer should be made at some point. But
Do you want me to call the accountant and find out? You want me to call the accountant and find out what's holding that up?
yeah, that would be great.
That was-
Because one of us should call, but probably, just one of us.
She should have got it by now, the check.
And our minutes have been published on the website.
I bet you they're waiting for the selectmen, because I needed those
Yeah, but I'm
minutes
looking at selectmen's
Yeah,
minutes.
they're.
from the 29th? How long was it? Oh, you said back in May, sorry.
Oh, no, that was my bad. That was us meeting at their thing.
I don't know what date it was that the minutes, that it was approved.
It was a while ago. So Martin,
Yeah.
if you could first speak to Dana and see if she's gotten it, and if she hasn't,
Okay,
then give the town accountant a call and see if there's anything more that we can do to help move things along.
yeah, it's gonna be something. I
Because
think.
I'd be happy to do what I can.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, good. So we still have money in our account, so if there are any other items that we am using to spend money on, we should try to do that, because the money just sits there otherwise. So if anybody has any ideas, if Kim and Sue, of anything that schools need for kids with disabilities. I don't know if there's anything that the school will need now that they've, got that nice new school building, but it's good to try to find out.
Yeah, I haven't had really any contact with anybody. Do you know anybody that need
yeah,
anything?
pretty cool.
I can contact the physical therapists and the OTs
Yeah,
and,
just see if they need any
like,
special
yeah,
needs things.
stuff
so.
like
Yeah.
that. Might be even, little items, but right now it's so hard to get anything. So
True.
we'd probably be very thankful for that.
Yeah, when I was a PT, if we wanted to be generous and give PT, OT speech $500 or, $100 each or something like that, you
The
turn that
problem-
money and you can get so much stuff for
The
that.
problem that I've come up with all that though, because it has to go to the school.
Right,
So
and
it
then they
doesn't
have,
guarantee.
right.
what
Oh,
they
yeah, that's right.
actually get.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, that stinks.
I hate to
So
see it go to
I-
school.
Getting wish lists from them.
Yes.
and then
Oh,
that
that's
way
a
you
good idea,
can-
and then we can purchase things for them.
Correct. other than that, it goes into the free cash.
Right.
Very smart,
Never,
because you're right,
never be seen again.
right, the only way would get it is if somebody directed it
Correct.
specifically for an item.
Yeah, and I've done it in the past. I've asked them for their wish list and I tell them everything, like, so, I'm not saying you're gonna get the whole wish list, but if there's
Right.
things that you're looking for and you want, I mean, at least we can do is ask.
Right.
So I will take care of that. I will send an email to them, all the therapists in the school and start there.
Well, great, and if they can identify things that they need and vendors, we can send money directly to the vendors and do it that way.
Yes,
Rather than
exactly.
run the risk that the donation is going,
Yep.
yeah, that'd be great.
Hey, Brian, might be a good time to discuss that email from Don Davidson that I forwarded to you. I think you got it. Where he wrote to me and asked if I knew of any funding sources for Don Davidson's on the trustee, library trustee committee, whatever. And at one point, we were discussing the fact that they've got a little amphitheater outside of the library.
Oh, yeah.
And the thought was that we would just cut a little section out, so at the top of that amphitheater, right off the road where the parking takes place there, so that a wheelchair and then an attendant, the PTA, whatever, could sit next to them. So I thought just a little, not a little, but a cement slab type of an idea, but that never went through. Don never got back to me. Now he tells me that they want to build a ramp, I guess, or construct a cement walkway from the library to there. I don't know what the plans are, but he was asking about funding. And I told him, we fund our own walkways and, when we deal with it, then I forward it to you if you had any ideas. But is that something we might want to offer to them? Say, listen, we can help, but it could be quite expensive, I would think.
Yeah, and I think that I sent to you something to forward to him, that the state, through the Massachusetts Office of Disability,
Yes.
makes, but of course, any requests for this year are too late because there's only a month left to get requests in for 2023. All the money for 2022 has been allocated. There might still be some time left to get, but you need to do essentially a fund request, and something that I certainly don't know how to do. But if they're looking for a relatively small amount, $1,000, $5,000, maybe that's certainly something we can consider because we have that kind of money. If they're looking for 10,000 or tens of thousands,
Yeah, I don't know.
we might contribute to that the way that we have agreed to contribute to the improvements at Hicks Bridge Landing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
To get that ball moving. So, Martin, if in talking to them, if you can find out
Yeah.
what they need and what vendors they're going to use, we can consider giving them some money as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell him we need more detailed information. In other words, he's gonna show us a, schematic of that, of what they're gonna lay out and exactly, I think we should take a look at it. Obviously, if we're gonna be using it, or persons with disabilities will be using it, we'd like to see that it's the right size and the right type of walkway. So, yeah, I'll get more information from him, find out what's going on.
Okay. That'd be great. Okay. And if anybody else along the way has any other items that they think that we might be able to help with, please bring it up to us and either via email or one of our meetings, and we'll do anything and everything we can to try to help people.
Brian, should we also discuss this, are we at ideas?
Mhm.
That kind of, anybody have any comments? Okay. We should discuss that email that we got from Shauna Schufeld about that boy from the high school, I believe, who's disabled, and he was asking if there's anything we could do with Cherry and Webb Lane. We just talked about how difficult that's gonna be.
No.
And you responded back, correct? Didn't you send everybody that? You guys get that email from him?
I don't, I
remember
didn't
that?
get an email.
Brian, do you remember
from-
that? And did you not write to him as well? Like, 'cause I did get something that you had responded back from saying that, you know, we have a Baby Beach available and across the Nubble. And how difficult.
I
how
did
difficult-
respond to him.
Yeah, okay. I mean, he never responded back to that. I feel kind of. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have not heard from him, but I did send him an email and let him know that we have the children's beach and also the beach at the Nubble, but we have considered doing something at Cherry and Webb, but it's really beyond our ability to make that accessible, because number one, it's a long way to go, and number two, shifting tides there with the wind and the sand, and who's going to maintain it, and then
Right.
who's going to take it up in the winter time, and where is it going to be stored? There's way too many things for us to even get involved in there. But I did let them know about the other beaches, so I did not get a response. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more that we can do for you. And if people send in requests or inquiries, I'm happy to do what I can, and I know that all of you are. Yeah. There's something that's in your wheelhouse, or if you know somebody who can help, that we're always willing to help. But I don't think that enough people in town really know who we are and what we do. You know, to ask us for input. So anything that we can do, advertise us and who we are, what we do, would be great. But which then reminds me of the fact that we have spoken several times about getting together something put into the shorelines. Every time you pick up the shorelines, I mean, it's every time it comes out, there is a section in the back page that's devoted to the Council on Aging and what they do. So, and we were going to put something in there to say, this is what we've done and who we are, what we hope to do. We haven't yet gotten around to doing that. So it's something that we, over the, of course, the winter months are coming, and so we should probably think about getting it ready for the spring. So as people are again thinking about what to do with their leisure time, they can say, "Oh, this is what the Commission on Disability is doing," and these are the people they're working with. And which brings me to another topic: the Westport Woods. Everybody that I have recommended to, or my wife has recommended to, who've gone there, have just marveled at how nice it is. So if you have not been to the Westport Woods, to check it out, and the things that are available there for children, and the wheelchair accessible trail that goes out into the woods and then through the meadow, you should go. It's just it's a nice place. And Ross Moran is happy to help and willing to listen to any suggestions that we might have about improving it. Another place that people in town go and relax and get out of their homes.
Brian, too, on the topic of articles and making the public aware of some of the work that's going on. So in the absence of shorelines, we also have the commission website, which is now able to be kept updated. So,
Very nicely done.
so I think if we can use that, then ultimately, if we get the opportunity to get an article published in Shorelines, it can refer back to our commission website, and then people can see all of the activity there. So that would be a good place to start, I think, is just keeping that updated on a regular basis.
Also,
Yeah.
I wonder how we get something, on the television, on the town channel,
Yes.
that like on their downtime, they like pop up these things on the screen that just say like, Board of Health meets
Oh, yeah,
every
they do
Monday
that. Yeah,
at
I've
6
seen
o'clock.
that.
Maybe we could, I don't know who we've even talked to.
Yeah, we can start with Val.
Val,
Yeah,
yeah, she,
probably Val.
she left because she came,
I was
but
gonna
we had
say
already
that.
started and recorded on Zoom. So
Oh,
we're just gonna do that this
I
time.
kept
So-
looking back. I thought,
Yeah, she
did.
came and left.
Okay,
So,
okay.
but yeah, she would be a good place to start.
Right, just, because she probably just types it up and then takes a
Yeah,
picture of it.
yeah.
and-
I've got her email. I'll drop her a line. see
The
what
other
she
thing
says.
is, the website itself, so we can fully edit everything in our section of the website. But then on the main, if you just go to westport-ma.com, there's often updates through there. So I
Mhm.
think those just need separate approval, but if we had something that we wanted to make sure the whole town saw,
Mhm.
then I would imagine that we could request that article get linked right from the front
Oh,
page.
great.
The other thing I'm thinking of, when I was thinking of the TV, is, I don't know if Mr. Coyne does it anymore, but remember on election night, Mr. Coyne would, you know.
Yeah.
do and he was always looking for somebody like begging people to come talk to him.
Oh, yeah,
I said, have Martin go, and Brian go and
yeah,
talk,
sure.
talk
I
to
don't know
him.
if he's doing it.
I don't think he's doing it, but somebody's doing it now, I
Okay.
think. I don't think he did
I
it
thought,
last
I
year.
know his daughter did it, after
Oh.
him, but
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
if she's still doing it.
Okay,
You know how they go in and just,
yeah,
this
chat.
is so-and-so,
Yeah.
and this is what we do. and-
Yeah,
Because
I'm
people
game.
watch that, I watch that election night. I'll throw that on to see
Mhm.
if any election results have come in and
Oh.
then flip it back up.
it's a good idea.
You could
Um,
eat up an hour like that.
Me? Oh, yeah, give me a microphone. Huh? I'm ready. But yeah, do you talk to Mr. Coyne? I was gonna go to his birthday. We were gonna go to his birthday party and it got postponed because he got ill, correct? So and my
No,
point is, I don't know,
I
yeah,
don't talk to
I
them,
gotta
but
call
I
it.
can, I can ask Paula Brown, the selectman secretary. If, I don't know if she has anything to do with it or who does it,
okay.
no, but I can ask her if she knows.
Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about while we're just, kicking ideas around? Anything else? Okay.
No, I think that's good.
Our next meeting is October 24. It will be in the annex.
Okay.
I will not be there in person. My wheelchair broke. And,
Oh, no.
yeah, and New Motion, the company I bought it from, told me today that the first appointment they can have to send somebody out here to fix it is November 9.
Wow.
With that new motion,
Yeah,
who do
what's that?
who do you work with at New Motion?
Every time I call, it's somebody different. Today I spoke to a young man, I think his name was Nathan. And there are several other people. When I bought it, there was a gentleman named Jose that I dealt
Yeah,
with.
that's
And then
who
there's,
my contact is at New Motion. I would be happy to text him because we do a fair amount of business with them.
Well, get
See if I
going.
can't get you, booth. I'm doing it right
Yeah,
now.
mobile.
Do it now.
Brian, is that the only company that you deal with? I mean, could you try some other place?
well, I bought it through them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there are any other companies around that I
Yeah,
can deal with.
okay. I know there's a couple. there's one-
Anyway,
Brian, with
that's
your
my-
permission, I'd be happy to text him.
yeah, that'd be great, because as I said, and I left a message not for Jose, but there's a woman there that I've also dealt with in the past, and her name escapes me at the moment, but I left her a message saying, this is really unacceptable. Is there any way that you can get me an earlier date? And of course, I haven't heard back from her.
How long has your chair been down for?
September 3rd, it decided that was going to be a joystick function, and without the joystick, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
And then November.
Yeah, it'll be 2 months, the time that it finally gets repaired.
And let's hope they get the part, because now they're gonna say, it's gonna be another month to get the part.
Well, you know, it took me a month. I had to get approval to buy the part, then they had to take time to actually locate the part, and buy the part once I got approval to purchase it. And then they said, all right, now we have everything, but here's your date. And they didn't give me a date, so I had to call them, and they said, oh, yeah, the first available date we have is November.
Wow.
Forced to sit here in my home, in my recliner, and just watch the river flow by.
That's ridiculous. Brian, isn't there something that you and I both read on that symposium newsletter that comes around? They list all the bills, the Senate bills in Massachusetts. And I thought there was something on there about this exact topic, that those folks who sell wheelchairs have got to provide the care in a timely manner to get the chairs fixed, because this is a real big problem for folks who get stuck. I mean, that's ridiculous to be stuck at home.
Right,
You know?
you can't do pressure reliefs without it, you can't,
That's terrible.
yeah, that's,
So I think it's such a big issue that was an actual bill. I don't know if it's moved forward or not, or what's happened to it, but that's important.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And, you know, fortunately, my wife still likes me, though. Who knows after another month of this, whether she'll still feel
yeah,
the same way.
They don't have a loaner?
No.
Wow.
This is a kind of wheelchair that they don't have extras just sitting around that they can loan in.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real eye opener.
Yeah.
Situation
Yeah.
like this.
all right, I just sent him a text, Brian, I don't know if he'll respond, but, we'll see.
Let's try.
Well, thank you very much. That was very thoughtful. So our next meeting would be October 24th, 3:45 in the annex. And then after that, we get into the holidays, November and December. Those meetings fall right around the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays. So we will, in all likelihood, not meet during those 2 months. And that would mean after October, our next meeting would be in January. So I encourage everybody to try to participate in October, and we'll try to get as much done as we can going forward.
Hopefully
Okay.
hopefully by the next meeting, Brian, we'll have the geogrids already started. I mean, by that time, I'll email everybody once.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Going on with that, what exact date is, you know, we're gonna peg them down to a time and a day.
Wonderful. That would be very helpful.
All right.
I'll make a motion to
all right.
adjourn.
Oh, second. motion.
Anybody second? All right, all in favor of adjourning?
Uh,
Aye.
Aye.